And over time, they had moved to Kansas City, and Brother Sam knew them and knew Marilyn's grandma still went there. In other words, Brother Sam hired me because of Marilyn. So anyway, we got hired. I was youth director. We went there. We was youth director till, I think, 96. No, I graduated in 96. It doesn't matter what the dates are. But anyway, I was youth pastor for a while, and then God started speaking to my heart about the country of Haiti. And I told my wife at a missions conference, we laid down in bed, I said, and she says I lie about this, but I think it's true. But anyway, she says, I laid down in bed and I said, I think the Lord's calling us to Haiti. She said, he may be calling you, but he ain't calling me. And so I prayed for a year that the Lord would speak to my wife's heart. And that's all I did was pray. I never really said a whole lot to her about it. And I just prayed. And then we had another missions conference. And the first night, I went forward and I said, Lord, if you call me to Haiti, I can't go. But you've got to talk to my wife. I said, you've got to call her. And so, was it the first or second night?
I think the second.
So the second night, I go forward again, and I'm kneeling. I don't know if we talked the first night about it again. Second night, I go down, I'm kneeling, and I feel somebody come down beside me. And it's my wife, and she says, if you're ready, still going, I'm ready. And so the Lord spoke to her heart. Right. And so the Lord, a lot of times, it's about timing and doing what, yes, the Lord had called me to Haiti, but I had to wait for him to speak to my wife because she's hard-hearted.
She's stubborn.
Stubborn, excuse me, I got that mixed up. Anyway, the Lord spoke to her, and then, to fast forward, we ended up going to Haiti, and we're missionaries there in 2000 to 2004. Within 6 months, I could tell you many stories about Haiti. There's a lot to tell, but we don't have time. Within 6 months, I was preaching in Haitian Creole. M'kapali Creole kounye, mais ou pa ka kompran ki sa m'di. Mais si mwen di anyen, mais ou va gade mwen tan ke ou fou.
That's right.
See, Louise learned. I said, I can speak Creole to you, but you won't understand. I said, you just look at me like I'm crazy. And so I speak, and Marilyn speaks Creole fluently. So over time, while we were in Haiti, I started having problems seeing. One of my eyes had a stagnance, which means your eyes jump back and forth. And so I couldn't keep my balance as I was walking, and the roads in Haiti are terrible, and trying to walk and visit, it was just, I was having trouble. So we came home to North Carolina, and we saw a neurologist here. And the neurologist said, I think you may have multiple sclerosis, but I can't prove it. I didn't know what multiple sclerosis was. Oh, wow. So when they said that, I went hunting for a month, and everything went away. I went deer hunting for a month, and so everything went away. And then we went back to Haiti, and we were there for, Luke was only 6 weeks old when we went back. And so we were only there 3 weeks, and at that time, September 11th had happened, and the Baptist Bible Fellowship had an organization, I don't know what the organization was, that watched all their missionaries in every country to make sure they were safe. And that organization called BBFI and said, get all your people out of Haiti now. And so they called us, told us, you guys got to go. So we left, and it was right before Christmas. We came home for Christmas, and then we were here for a while. I think I was in Kansas City at that time when Jim and Louise lived in Kansas City. But then the Lord spoke to my heart and said, you're not going back. I'm not going back. We just bought land. Our church is going good. I don't understand. Nope. So I called my pastor and said, Pastor, the Lord is not going to let us go back. He said, okay. So sold everything. I pastored for a while I was assistant pastor in Roswell, New Mexico, and that's a long story. But then I ended up pastoring in Coweta, Oklahoma, which is a suburb of Tulsa. I pastored there, I think, for 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years. But my health got so bad. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2006. My health got so bad that I just couldn't do it no more. So I resigned as pastor, moved in with my mom and dad in Somerset, Kentucky, and we lived with my mom and dad because we couldn't afford a house. So we lived with them for a year, and then my health just continued to deteriorate. For example, I like to garden. So I would go and I would try to plant, say, a row of beans. So I'd take the four-wheeler, ride down to the garden, plant a row of beans, and I'd have to crawl hands and feet, or crawl on my hands and knees back to the four-wheeler, pull myself up on the four-wheeler, right back to the house, and I was done for the day. That was bad. I was bad. And one of the doctors, that my family doctor was my Sunday school teacher, and the neurologist I had was in Lexington, and they were friends, and he told my family doctor, he said, he'll be dead in 5 years. He said, his MS, he won't make it. Well, I'm still here, praise the Lord. Amen. And so in 2009, they put me on 1,000 milligrams a day of steroids for 5 days. I don't know if anybody in here has ever taken that many steroids at one time, but you can't sleep. I didn't sleep for 7 days. And I was mean. My wife said, if you ever do that again, you're getting a hotel or I am. And so, but the thing is that it helped me. It kind of rebooted my system. And so I started to get better. And I was taking medicine for MS, but still I started to get better. By 2009, I was feeling better, and I started praying the Lord would let me return to Haiti. 2010, the earthquake happened in Haiti. We still own land in Port-au-Prince, and we had 40 people living in tents on our land in Port-au-Prince. And so we went back and built houses out of dirt. We took Marilyn's dad went with us, me, Marilyn, a missionary friend of mine named Tony Ledbetter, and her dad went, and we built earth bag houses. Now it sounds crazy, but you just stack 55-gallon feed sacks full of sandy clay, and they're earthquake resistant, tsunami resistant, and bulletproof. That's all good things in Haiti. So we built them out of that, and then I wanted to go back to Haiti after that. Told Marilyn, I'm ready to go back. She said, you can't go back. Your health won't allow it, and my health wouldn't. So we ended up moving to South Florida and start Haitian churches. And so we have been in South Florida since 2012. See, I have to look at her for dates because I can't remember dates and things. But 2012, we moved to, we actually lived in Sunrise at that time. I had a church in Margate, Florida, which is kind of the north part. Then we lost that building after a few years, and we had to move. Housing there and rent is extreme. My rent for my house is over $2,000 a month just for a place to live. It's extreme. So we moved to a place it's called Cooper City, Florida, which we live in Hollywood, but Cooper City, where a pastor named Tom Odom, who's a good friend of mine, had just built a church, so his church was empty. So we meet in his empty old building for our Haitian church. The problem is there's not as many Haitians in that area. But it was going okay. And then I had back surgery in 2019 and was supposed to have rehab when COVID started. COVID started and I didn't have any rehab. So my strength just got weaker and weaker and weaker. That's why I have a cane and I can't walk as far. So now I can't walk as far, I can't visit, I can't knock doors, and before that I could. So my health has gotten in the way that I can't really plant churches. So last week I had a meeting back it up a little bit. Before, I've been doing Bible translation. There's not a good Creole Bible. Yes, they have a Creole Bible, but it's not a faithful translation, if that makes sense to you. What that means is that they have a Bible, but it's not a good one. You can't take their Bible and say, this is what the Lord says. It's not like, we have the King James Bible. My Bible's down there. We've had the King James Bible for 400 years. It had its 400th year anniversary a while back. So we are kind of spoiled in that we have a Bible, and we don't think about all the people that don't. But the King James Bible is faithful. You can pick it up, you can read it, you can know, thus saith the Lord. And you can preach it, thus saith the Lord. The Creole Bible, you cannot do that. They have a weak Bible, which in turn gives them weak doctrine, which in turn makes them weak in their faith. Now, some of the Haitian people I know, and I'll give an example of Monice. Monice worked for us. She's like our daughter, and she's one of the strongest Christians I know. I'm not saying every Haitian was weak because of their Bibles. What I'm saying is them as a whole are weak Christians because most Haitians don't believe eternal security. I couldn't think of the word I was looking for. Eternal security. They don't believe that. They're weak in a lot of areas. They don't understand. They think any Bible's okay. It doesn't matter to them. As long as it has Holy Bible and an American made it, it must be good. Everybody there calls me pastor just because I'm white. Because you're white, I could go in there and could steal them blind. No, I wouldn't, but I could. Because they trust me. Just because I'm white. And every time you get stared at in Haiti, they'll see you and they'll say, "Hey blanc," which means "hey white man." They're not politically correct. Yeah. "Hey white man, bamwe $1. It used to be $1. Give me $1. Now it's $5. Bamwe $5. So, anyway, we were in Haiti for a while, and now I do Bible translation. Now, I had a meeting last Monday with First Bible International, which you know of Dr. Charles Keene. Have you ever heard of him? Yes, sir. Dr. Charles Keene was the pastor of First Baptist Church of Milford. Then he started Bearing Precious Seed, which gave out, I think he said I don't know how many millions of Bibles. It's over 2 million. It's probably, I don't know. I can't say because I don't remember. Then he started, after Bearing Precious Seed, he started First Bible International, which is a translation organization that translates Bibles for people that have never had a Bible. Now, they have First Bible International Language School, or Translation School. They have First Bible International. And so I met with, and I didn't know I was meeting with, first the Translation School. And it looks like I'm going to be going back to school at 51. It's not a good plan. So I could take any class I want to. I don't have to take them all. But I'll be going back most likely. I'm still praying about it, but most likely not this fall because of things that are happening. We're in a transition area space right now. Now, this isn't public knowledge. It's not that I just haven't. Probably by mid-July, I'm going to send out a prayer letter stating what's coming. But there are people that know. But my supporting churches don't necessarily know there's a transition coming. They know I'm doing Bible translation. They know that my health's not good. And so there's got to be a transition of some sort coming. So we're transitioning, but we're going to do Bible translation is what the transition is going to be. Now, First Bible does Bible translation. They do church planning and training nationals. It's a 3-prong thing that they do. So they do that, and so we're praying about teaming up with First Bible, I get all these names mixed up, First Bible International. And then I work with a guy, and I'm going to stop here a second, Brad Pridmore. Brad Pridmore got me involved in the translation work of the Creole Bible. Then, Brother Pridmore he never went to school past 10th grade. He's got his GED. He's had 3 years of college. However, he went into the Navy, and you take it's called, I think, AFAB. I don't know. Some of you men in here may know what the test is you take to get in the Navy or whatever. Maybe not. I don't know, but I think it's called AFAB test. But they take a test to test how intelligent you are. Brother Pridmore's test came out that he was a nuclear physicist. So he's highly intelligent, and he does things. So, make a long story short, he's thinking about going to Bangladesh. Amen. He's going to go to Bangladesh. Him and I are partners. He's going to go to Bangladesh, and what he does is like he did in Haiti. He went into Haiti and started the translation work. He's gone to a country called East Timor, which is south of Indonesia, and we have John and Romans in Tetum, which is their language. And now he's going to go to Bangladesh and do the same thing. So we're not just doing Haitian Creole, we're doing other languages also and trying to get them started. And then we train nationals in the Bible translation school, it's online. We'll train Fevre Israel, who taught me Creole, who speaks 5 languages. He's our Haitian translator. He's probably going to go to the school. And then the young lady that's doing the Tetum language, I think will probably end up going to school there online. So there's a lot of things in the works right now. And just pray with me about that. Right now, we're praying. I'm pretty sure all that's going to go happen unless the Lord just says no, which I don't see that. But I appreciate y'all letting me preach today and tell you what's going on with us. And although it's kind of complicated right now, but the Lord's always in control. Amen. And I always say, if I didn't get MS back when I got it, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And my English isn't real good either, so you see when I say got it and went and gone and all those kind of things. But with MS, the Lord's allowed me to do a lot of things I would have never done. God is always in control, regardless of where you are, regardless of what's happened, regardless of what's going on in your life. So thank you for the opportunity, Pastor. Thank you for church, for listening. And
Thank you. You have any prayer cords yet, brother? Or any with you?
if I was a good missionary, I'd have brought
No,
some
that's
with me.
okay. I
But I'll
understand.
mail you some.
Okay, well,
But I wasn't planning on stopping anywhere, actually.
that's okay. Well, we're certainly glad you've come by and appreciate you sharing your testimony and preach the sermon series and still got it going. Is what in the world am I doing here? And it's kind of sound like your life sometimes. You look and see, what am I doing here? And then you see later as you look back. Now, we're certainly glad that you guys are here with us today. And you're not allowed to move back to Florida, so if it don't work out in Haiti, you got to come to North Carolina, okay? Miss Louise is not...
I am not going to get her north of Florida and flying, I don't believe.
Oh, really? Well, Miss Louise is not allowed to go south of south of the Beaufort County line, except she goes to Martin County once in a while, but that's it. So, but we're glad y'all are here today and hear a lot about y'all, and glad that you're sharing your mother with us. She's a dear lady, sweet lady, and we're glad she's able to be with us. So you can take that. She paid me a lot to say that.
I know, she poked me when I...
Yeah. She didn't say anything good about you, though, so sorry. All right, well, I'm going to pass out this morning here just briefly so you guys can have it, your outline for our Sunday school lesson, and then you can take it, and there's references on it, and this will be different than what we've done in the past, but that way you can work on it. Yeah, Brother Don, just pass these out. There should be 20 of them, and then... if you're going to be back here next Sunday, bring this with you completed. Now, I'm not going to give you $100 or anything like that. I don't know where you got the idea from that for, but anyway, if you will just go through this as our outline. This is the stubborn fool. Last week, we looked at beginning of what a fool is, and there's 5 different types of fools. Last week, we looked at a self-confident fool. And this next Sunday, we'll look at the stubborn fool, but from the book of Proverbs. But if you'll notice on the outline that Brother Don's handing out, if you've been in our Sunday school lesson, I usually give you just a little bit of some questions to fill in while I'm going through the lesson. And I didn't give you the references. This time I gave you the references, so now you can do your homework and know where to find the answers to the questions. And we'll go through this next Sunday on our outline. As we go through the full. But let me encourage you, be reading through Proverbs each month as we go through this book. There's a lot there. And so a lot that you can learn. Okay, I don't think I have any other announcements. We're going to break here for our service, and then we'll pick back up at 11 o'clock and go into our main service. Thank you.